You know, I myself and many others have been posting a lot of stuff on Facebook about the coronavirus and a lot of political stuff as well. I've never been political before. Uh, I leave that aside just to preach the gospel, and I preach the gospel for over 40 years now. And but the Lord has really pressed me on this thing that we're engaged in now in terms of the Constitution and other things. But I want to talk to you about a lot of these issues here. I've wrote and jotted down some notes here so I could kind of remember. I want to talk about the coronavirus and some other things too. First of all, there's a lot of evidence coming out that's that's questioning the coronavirus and just how dangerous it is and all that. We don't really know that yet, what it is, but we do know it's dangerous. It's dangerous to people who are elderly, my age, or maybe even a little younger than me. I'm 77, and people with underlying health issues, which I don't seem to have any. But those people there are in danger. They're the ones that are dying for the most part. And if you have a health issue like that, it would be wise to stay at home, wear a mask when you go out, and take care of yourself. On the other side, you probably need to get out and get some sunshine, a little bit of exercise, what have you, until this thing kind of blows over and see where it's going. So I say yes, if that's your situation and to protect your life or the life of your loved ones, do that. Unnecessary fear is a thief, and it just discomforts you. It's bad news. You don't want to live in fear. Fear is not something that God has given you. Fear is something that the media and a lot of the politicians and other people with ulterior motives want to produce fear for you and to control you. And that's what happens with fear. You're controlled by something other than your own common sense. Do some research. Now, if you're not, I'm a researcher. I like to research things and dig in and see what's really happening there. Maybe that's not you. There is a responsibility that we should each take for our lives. We're living in a free society. We don't have other people just making our decisions for us, because if they do, those decisions will be less than what we want. Every time. People are not going to prefer you above themselves. So, let's continue on here. The death rate for those who are infected is between 3 and 4%, is what they're saying now. However, that 3 and 4% also includes those who die from pneumonia and those who die from influenza. There are others who die from something else, but if they had COVID-19, it's listed as a COVID-19 death. This is, this is open news. This is not difficult to get. That's exactly how they're figuring it. If you go to a hospital and you die from heart failure, or you die from emphysema, or you die from COPD, or you die from something in your lungs, some other thing, and you have COVID-19, the virus in you, they will call that a COVID-19 death. So we don't really know the numbers. Might not be near as bad as what they're saying, but we do know this, that by their own admission, they being the CDC, they admit that 3 or 4% includes influenza, people who die with influenza, and people who die with pneumonia if they have COVID, COVID-19. So that's common knowledge. That's out there. You can find that. That reduces some of the fear. We don't have to have fear. Now, I already talked about wearing masks and social distancing. And we're not, you don't need to be chastised for doing that. You should, if that's you, you need to wear a mask. But don't allow unnecessary fear to make you wear a mask. I go to the grocery store, and everybody, young and old, in the store, except a few of us, I'm not one of them, I don't think it's healthy to wear a mask. That's me now. I don't have any medical evidence of that. I researched a little bit. It's sense to me not to breathe the germs coming out of my body. It's sense to me not to breathe carbon dioxide. It just makes sense. It makes sense to me not to get the fresh air coming into my lungs. But that's just me. So I don't wear a mask. I don't want to wear a mask. If I was going to hold up a 7-Eleven, maybe I'd wear a mask, but not until. Okay. So, I already talked about healthy people. Listen, if you're healthy, stop being afraid. Go out and live your life. And do what you have to do. I know the governor told you not to do that. We'll talk about her in a minute. And I'm not going to curse her. She's just doing her job. But anyway, okay, the government overreach is disconcerting. Is this a big deal? Well, it's a nail in the coffin of democracy. It's just another nail. It's just another overreach. It's just another shot at taking your freedom away from you. It's not just about wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, opening your business or not opening your business. There's a bigger photo here. We're on the road to someplace, and we've been on it for a long time. The government making a lot of decisions for your life. Decisions they should not be allowed to make. And you shouldn't let them make it. But you see, we're all responsible for our own freedom. I'm responsible for my freedom. I can't look to the government to protect my freedom. They're not going to protect my freedom. It's obvious that they're not going to protect my freedom or yours. I have to do that. I'm going to talk about the law of the land. The law of the land is the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. Every state has a constitution that is premised on the U.S. Constitution. There's nothing in that Constitution of the state that contradicts the Constitution of the United States. That would not be ratified. It would be wrong. Now, there are laws and rules being made that the Supreme Court often has to overturn. Some zealous group made a law. Somebody else took them to court and said, you can't do that. And the Supreme Court says, you're right. It doesn't agree with the Constitution. So in our society, if there's something that's happening that we feel is wrong or against the Constitution, you have to take him to court. We can't shoot anybody. We can't just throw him out of office. We have to take him to court and throw him out of office on the next election. Now, that Constitution is for me. It's mine to obey. It protects me from the government. But it's the governor's constitution to obey as well, and the president's responsibility to obey. We all, every soul in the country, on this land, the United States of America, God gave us a constitution that gives us incredible freedoms for the pursuit of our happiness, to live and move and breathe and enjoy the fruit of our labor. The Constitution guarantees that. It's the law of the land. So, we all have to obey. Now, the governors and the mayors and the president, we have honored them. We have given them honor by allowing them to serve us. We don't serve them. They serve us. They don't have to. Nobody is forced into the presidency. Nobody is forced to be the mayor. Nobody is forced into an elected position. It's something that they want. But they can only operate under the authority of the Constitution. And when they miss that, and when they stop operating under the Constitution, when they go beyond the Constitution, they're no longer an authority. They're not under authority. Their words are just like my words at that point. You do or you don't obey. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Read it. The Bill of Rights, supreme law of the land. Read it. So, when they deny that, and when they start moving in areas and doing things that are against the Constitution, that remove my freedoms, my personal freedoms, then they're no longer under authority. Now they're rogue. I don't have to obey them, and I won't. I'm protecting my freedom. I'm protecting yours too. You may not jump on a wagon. You may not protect your own rights. I'll fight for your rights. But you should be fighting for your rights. You should be diligent to know the laws, to know the truth. You should be diligent to do that. There's a lot of laws that are wrong. A lot of the things that cops do that are wrong. They have to be dealt with. But you do that through the ballot box. Now the cops, not so much. The cops, you have to take them to court, which you can do. You can do. I posted something the other day about something about the police. I said, what? Now be careful. They'll shoot. They can kill you. And somebody was offended at that. I said, excuse me, where have you been for the last couple of years? They're killing people. Unarmed people. Black, white, green, doesn't matter. So, mostly black, young people in the city. These cops should be dealt with harshly. So let me go back here. What do I got here? Um, Gosh, I think I've been doing it. By the way, don't destroy our community. If you're going to start wearing masks and stay 6 feet away from everybody for the rest of your life, you are going to destroy the community of the world. Our relationships. Oh, don't hug anybody. What are you talking about? Years ago, when they started telling their kids, oh, don't talk to strangers. Well, you know what they're doing there? They're not teaching them what a stranger is, what a stranger does. They're just point blank, don't talk to strangers. The government picks it up. Maybe that's where they got it. I don't know. I want my kids to talk with strangers. I want my kids to be sociable. I want them to have discernment. Therefore, I will teach them. It's my responsibility. It's your responsibility. So, you might have been raised, don't talk to strangers. So, you don't. Wear the mask, stay 6 feet away, don't talk. You're going through life together, but don't talk. There's a community that's being destroyed here. Now, there are elements that we've known this for a long time. There are elements in politics and business and in the universities. Oh, the universities. They're a hotbed for this. They want globalism. And they're expecting that they'll be able to rule that. I mean, they're the elite, right? They understand. They have knowledge. They're wise. You and I, we're just a bunch of dummies. We just got to be, somebody's got to take care of our lives for us. Globalism. Kill the borders. One language. One currency. One head. With a lot of other renegades running it. One global government. I can tell you right now that's not going to work. It's not going to fly. I'm one that's not going to let it fly. How are you going to stop it? Well, first of all, I'm a man of God. I believe that Jesus Christ is God. I believe that I am God's son. With all my heart, not a doubting bone in my body. Therefore, I have power. So I'm speaking against that. I am cursing that. Why would I do that? Because God already has in the 11th chapter of Genesis. The Tower of Babel. They were trying to do the very same thing, and he shut it all down. So I'm praying against it. I'm his spokesman in the realm of unseen realm to frustrate this thing. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to happen. So live your life. Love God. Love your neighbor. But be wise. Be wise. You know, if you're a believer, if you're a Christian, and I don't know everybody I'm talking to, but if you're a Christian, your citizenship is in heaven. That's right. But you're a resident of earth. So you have to live in this earth, and so do your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren if the Lord doesn't show up first to destroy all this mess, which he's going to. Now, you have a responsibility to the earth as well as to heaven. So don't hide your head in the sand. Get involved and maintain your faith, and because of your faith, get involved. Because of your faith, choose what's right. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. When the Supreme Court goes to try a case, they go to the Constitution. It either does or does not line up. If it does not line up, it's out. If it does line up, it's in. The supreme law of the land. Every other law has to agree with the Constitution. So when the rules that they make, some arbitrary, some well thought out, when they don't line up with the Constitution, they're out from under authority, and you have no responsibility to obey it. You have a responsibility not to obey it. Because we're trying to maintain a republic here. So, that's what I'm asking you to do. I just want to say all that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not the brightest candle on the cake. But I do understand some things. That's some of the things I understand. Okay, I've talked about personal responsibility. Think rationally. The ballot box is where we make the change. We don't do that with guns. Leave your guns at home. But don't let them take them. As long as you have guns, I don't have a gun. I don't want a gun. But as long as you have a gun, they can't override you. And they're not going to override me. So, leave your gun at home, though. And the day may come, I hope not. Oh, I pray not. I don't want it. I don't want armed conflict. There's no need for it. We have a ballot box. We start an armed conflict, we lose the ballot box. When we lose the ballot box, we start losing our Constitution. We're up from under authority again. Let's maintain proper submission to proper authority. And the proper authority is the Constitution of the United States. And everything that denies that is not under authority. You don't have to believe it or obey it. You get that? It's so simple. So don't be complicated. Be simple. But be wise. Think. Don't let your emotions rule. Okay? Anyway, God bless you. I hope you got something out of that. Anyway, enjoy your day. Bye-bye.